All right, we are in our books on page 40. As you look at your book, I am going to ask you to try your warm-up. The warm-up says which does not belong. Which does not belong. So you have a minute. You have 3 minutes. I've got the timer going. I'm going to start the timer. If the timer's not going, I'm going to start the timer. 3 minutes. Think to yourselves. And what do we do if we find an answer? What am I going to do? Look and find another one, right? There's a reason why each one of them may not belong. So I want to see as many as you can come up with. So why does one not belong? Why could two not belong? Find the one you think first and start there. Cheshire. Remind me more, take these rags home to wash them so they're a little cleaner next week. Don't forget. Anyone else need marker or eraser? Carter, open your book, please, to page 40. Thank you. Where's your pencil, Carter? You got about 1 more minute. Which one doesn't belong and why? Which one doesn't belong and why? Write your justification. Tell me why.
Number.
$30 seconds. You should be wrapping up your answers. Remember, if you can solve one, solve them all. Keep on going. What else could you tell me? Certainly, love. All right, do I have any thoughts or ideas on how we can get started? Who's got one they can share? Dylan, thank you.
2 equals 35.
Where do you see that one?
Number 2.
Oh, number 2. 2 because it equals 35. I was confused what you were telling me. All right, so 35 equals 35. So 2 doesn't belong because it equals 35. Did anybody have a different reason for why 2 might not belong? Okay. Chastity, can you tell me which one doesn't belong and why?
2.
You said 2 as well?
Yeah.
Okay, why'd you say 2?
The same thing.
Because it was 35. Okay. How is that different than the other ones?
Because it's higher. It's a higher number than the rest.
So because it's the highest number. Good job, Chastity. All right. Did anyone choose a different equation?
4.
All right. And why does 4 not belong?
Because the left side equals -2 and the right side equals +2, so they're 2 different numbers.
Wow, that's quite the collection there. Okay, so this side is -2 and this side is +2? So that is the only one that doesn't belong because it's the one that does not equal. Okay. that does not equal. All right, now, Angel, can you tell me about number 1? Which one did you say doesn't belong? You said 4 as well? Okay, did anybody choose number 1? Did anybody choose number 3? You chose 3? All right, tell me why you chose 3, Lena.
I said it isn't being compared to another equation.
Oh, that language was legit. Okay, say that one more time.
It isn't being compared to another equation.
So on the left side, we had an answer, right? I'm so proud of you. Look at that. So on the left side, we have an answer, whereas on the right side, it's an equation. In all of these other examples, she said comparing it to another equation. These, we were looking at equations on each side. This one had a solution on one side. Nicely done. There is a reason why 1 would not belong. Does anyone see it? Why would 1 not belong? What do you think, Carter?
They both have different outcomes, like answers.
What's the answer for number 1?
8.5.
No, it's not.
7.5.
Because he's
Seven,
using the
or
1.
1.5.
This is the number 1, period. 5 plus 7 equals 7 plus 5.
Oh, then I think it's an equation.
Yes. These are numbers. That's
I
what the
can
two
tell
are
this
for.
decimal. Like the decimal.
Yeah, no, these are numbers. So number 1, why would number 1 be one that doesn't belong?
They're in different order.
What do you mean they're in a different order? Tell
That
me
was
more
5
about
plus
that.
7, that was 7 plus 5.
Okay, but is it number 2, 5 times 7 and 7 times 5?
Okay. Yeah.
And this one went 5 minus 7 and 7 minus 5.
I literally do not have an answer, so I just said that.
Oh, okay. Is it because what? Yeah, do you see any other ones that have addition? Could that be a reason why it wouldn't belong? Sure. What do you notice about this one? This one has subtraction, and this one has subtraction. Does this one have subtraction?
No, it is multiplication.
Does this one have subtraction? No, it has addition. So they could absolutely be the reason why they don't belong. Right? So we're going to go ahead and move forward. How do you think this is going to relate to our lesson? In today's lesson, we are talking about how we can analyze equations to determine what types of solutions they have. So in this lesson, you're going to be squaring up and partnering up. So if you guys want to figure out who you're going to work with, I do need you to have a partner today, at least a partner if you don't have a square up. Okay? All right, so the first question. Find a value for t that makes the equation true. Find a value for t that makes this equation true. You have 90 seconds. Go. Square up, partner up. Go, 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 go. I want to hear talking. I want to hear communication. Go.
Let's see, makes that true.
Jackson, you can cover today, baby.
Just 1.
Go ahead. Why don't you come over and join these guys over here? Christopher, you want to go up and join Elizabeth for a minute?
With anyone?
Yeah, he's gonna. Chris is gonna move up here.
You wanna move up here, buddy?
Carter.
Okay, go.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Let's just do that.
Yeah, right now it's
Yeah. Okay. Well, I need an equation. Tell me a number that
Do
would
you
make
understand what
it
we're
true.
doing here?
Okay.
We're trying to find a value that makes t, value for t that makes the equation true. What value for t can we put in there that makes the equation true?
So you ready to talk to Dylan about how you know it's gonna, that's gonna happen?
What do y'all think?
What do you think? I see talking. I see communication. What are you saying?
That's
You said what?
He said.
What?
That was the simplest answer.
Well, this equation is any positive number. Or negative, because whatever is one way, you're multiplying it by whatever, and you're adding 5 to it. So no matter what, like if it's 5, 10 on each side, plus 5, 15. If it's 38, okay, that would be negative 4. 706, 76, I mean, plus 5, which is 81 on each side. So no matter what positive number you put in, it's going to be
Plus
if you
5,
put,
See, wait, 0 is positive.
if you put negative 2,
how would you solve the
negative 2,
equation?
negative 1, multiplied by negative positive 2.
All right, so what did you guys figure out? It looks like you guys are about ready. What answer, what number could go in for t for this to be a true equation? Jordan, what do you got? Nice and loud so I can hear you over here. 5? Could it be 5?
Yes.
What would you get if you put 5 in for t? 15. So I would get 15 equals 15, and so 5 does work. Does any other numbers work?
Yes.
What? All the numbers. All the numbers will work. How do you know that all the numbers will work?
It's the same problem on both sides.
It's the same problem on both sides. So this is multiplying by 2 and adding 5, and this is multiplying by 2 and adding 5. So if the equation is the same on both sides, you mean you're always going to have any number of answers. So this is what we call an example of infinite solution. All solutions. All solutions, all the numbers, right?
Yeah, I like that one.
So what that looks like when I give it a symbol is a sideways 8. And this is called infinite solutions. And the reason why it's infinite solutions is because it doesn't matter what number I put in for that variable. Whatever it is on one side, it's the same value on the other side. So it's always going to equal and balance. It's always going to have an equal answer to each other. How do you feel about that? Does that make sense? Is that stretching your brain at all, or is this totally reasonable? Okay, next question. Here we go. Here I have another set of equations. I'm going to give you 90 seconds. I want to hear you thinking about this in a minute, and I want your writing to be on your dot this time. Okay? All your writing on your dot, not a partner thing, individual thing. On your dots. Let's go. What do you think is happening here? Right here. Yeah, information should be on the board. Good. How do you know that? Justify on the dot. Tell me on the dot so that you can tell me out loud when I come to you. Cool. All right, Jaden, can you tell me what you found? What have you noticed?
There's no solution
How do you know there's no solution?
because there's 2 and on each side, and they'll always be equal, and then there's a 5 and 7. The 7 is of 2 higher than 5.
So because 7 is always 2 higher than 5, am I ever going to have an answer that works?
No.
So what are you thinking? You have something to add to that?
Yeah, I said if you were to add the same number on each side, it would yield different results.
Okay. It would, but in this case, instead of adding the same number on each side, am I adding the same number on each side?
No.
No, I'm adding different numbers. So as Jack just said, I'm going to get a different result on each side. On one side, I'm always adding 5, and on the other, I'm always adding 7. And as Jaden said, that makes this side always 2 more than whatever this side is. And it doesn't matter what the n stands for. This is going to be a solution where I don't have any answer. So on this one, I have a no solution. Where on the last one, we had infinite solution. So now I have maybe something that might be worth writing down somewhere, maybe in our notes.
What do we write?
So maybe this is our opportunity to write down information about an example of what a no solution looks like and an example of what an infinite solution looks like.